Hello and welcome back to Anti-Depressing. This is the show where we talk about everything from liturgy to Lexapro. I'm Jasmine Joubert.
And I'm Chanel Shaw, and we are so happy to be with you guys. This is like our first episode in a long time that it's just the two of us. It feels like.
Yeah, and back in our home studio.
Back in the home studio, y'all.
We're proud.
Yeah, we're very proud of, started from the bottom. One day we were just going to make a music video or something, like started from the bottom, and now we're here, and then we're just like in a Today studio or something.
Whoa.
I'm dreaming big. I'm dreaming big.
And we're interviewing who? Who would be like our top if you could interview anybody on the podcast to talk about faith, mental health, and pop culture?
Okay, outside of the Pope, because that's a pretty generic, lame answer.
Yeah, that was kind of boring.
Everybody's. That's boring, right? Who would I want to talk to? Okay. Okay, in a dream, I would probably want to talk to... Actually, that's a really...
I actually don't know.
I actually don't know. Because I'm like, in Catholic celebrity world, like Katie Prejean. Would love to talk to you.
Yeah, if you listen to this, please.
Would love to have you on.
We'd love that.
In like real famous Catholic celebrity world, gosh, like, I don't know. Chris Evans?
Either. In real famous Catholic...
Oh, no, sorry.
Celebrity.
In real famous celebrity world.
Celebrity
Chris
world?
Evans?
Chris Evans.
That would be just for me.
We could do what every Catholic person is trying to do and get Mark.
Oh, yes. That, you know what?
I blanked on his last name.
Mark Wahlberg.
There it is.
Yeah, he seems to
You know
be...
that Tom Holland grew up Catholic.
Really?
We could ask him about leaving the church. If he did, I guess we don't know.
I guess we don't know. That would be a good question.
He grew up Catholic.
We could talk about like everybody that's like disaffiliated. That would be a pretty like...
That'd be an interesting episode.
Intense. Oh, I'd want to talk to like Harry and Meghan.
Oh,
that'd be
of
fun.
Course you would. That's very dramatic.
That'd be kind of like fun. Very dramatic.
Very
I want
dramatic.
to be like, so tell us, promise,
like
I won't tell
regime?
anybody. I will keep it big secret.
Except I am going to publish
it.
it.
Not telling. I feel like it would be fun if we had like the cast of New Girl or like the cast of Parks and Rec or something.
But in character.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. Wow.
Good dream.
Big
That's
dreams.
a good icebreaker.
Yeah. So you guys, we'll talk about it. We'll keep talking about it, dreaming about it.
We'll see who shows up.
We'll see who shows up.
Yeah.
One day it might just be like Jim from The Office, just right here.
Just right in between us.
Yeah. Who knows?
In character.
Until then, let's roll into some cool Catholic news.
Ooh, are you ready to hear some anti-depressing Catholic news? If you don't know, you can always send us any of your anti-depressing Catholic news. We'll share anything big we see, but then we love to share from the people who listen to the show. So this week's comes from a dear friend of ours, actually, Amanda Landry.
Oh.
Shared this, sweet friend, and her husband, also dear friend, Ryan, and they shared with us that they just signed up to be adorers at the 24-hour Adoration Chapel at their parish as a way to get more involved in their parish, more plugged in. Beautiful. What not depressing news?
That is tears.
Are you a little emotional?
That is so beautiful.
So beautiful.
So wonderful.
So if you're looking for ways to get involved at your parish, such a simple way where you also don't have to talk to anyone like that you might not want to socialize with.
And that's also really
if you're not like, oh, I'm going to sign up to like serve this pancake breakfast and have to talk to people and whatever. It can be a lot. But this is like such a beautiful way. Spend time with Jesus. Get involved in your church community.
Yeah. Not talking to people sometimes is just like really
it's just
refreshing.
Kind of better sometimes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Amanda and Ryan, like, no, wrong one. Yay. Good job.
Good job.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jesus is so happy that you're there.
He is.
And thank you for providing us with our cool Catholic news.
No, it's anti-depressing Catholic news.
Anti-depressing.
It is cool.
Cool.
But the main thing is that it's not depressing.
Got it.
Anti-depressing Catholic
because
news.
That's the name of our show.
Because that's the name of our show. It's all marketing.
Lame Chanel. Anti-depressing's Catholic news. Thank you for sharing with us.
Ba, 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 ba. We don't even need the button.
I know. So this is not one of those like official, this is not our official stories, but in like mentions, we're just sliding in. We're just getting the negative.
Mentions.
We're getting the negative stuff out of the way
all
first.
the sad stuff.
All the sad stuff out of the way
up,
first.
up.
But don't worry, you guys. We're climbing up. Jimmy Buffett. He's wasting away in eternal Margaritaville. He has passed away at the age of 76. Very, very sad.
Very sad.
And sad. I happen to know a certain gentleman who's very close to this podcast who, I mean, I can't even explain the affinity that this man has for Jimmy Buffett. I think that Jasmine might be able to better. So Jimmy Buffett's death, huge loss, obviously being from Florida. I mean, there are Margaritaville resorts. I was just
at Landshark, one of his restaurants.
There it is.
Like days before we found out he died.
They're Margaritavilles like living retirement villages. I mean, it's
my life goal.
It's a big, that would be awesome. It's a big deal over here. He's a big deal. He really built an empire. But I know that you know someone pretty close to the podcast that's grieving pretty hard.
I do. Half of me, my spouse, just loves Jimmy Buffett. If you want a playlist that'll keep the summer vibes going all fall, you can look up Steven Jobert's summer playlist. Mostly Jimmy Buffett and then a little bit of Jimmy adjacent vibes. But yeah, really sad stuff. Really sad to see him go, but thankful that his art lives on, you know?
Thankful.
That's like the beauty of people who create good art, is that it can kind of like live on for eternity. You know?
Yeah, dude. And Jimmy Buffett, like, his music is just so like chill, you know?
Yeah,
and
it like
nice.
Immediately puts you in a calm vacation headspace. And there's something about the gift of being able to make people feel that way. Like just be able to feel at peace, calm, like you're on a beach just swaying. But someone else also died this week that is very near and dear to you and also puts you in a certain headspace. Please share.
Lead singer of Smash Mouth, Steve Harwell, passed away at 56 years old. So young, like a lot of young deaths. Very sad. He blessed us with, I mean, such gems. And also, I had no idea that Jimmy Buffett sang Cheeseburger in Paradise. Where have I been this whole time? I know. I just looked it up.
It's on the playlist. You should know.
I know. Yeah. I've heard it, but I'm like, oh, that's Zach Brown Band. But then I'm like, oh, that's like slander. That's slander.
No, Zach Brown Band's still good.
Yeah. But fine. I'm like, how dare I mix them up? But
how dare you?
Steve Harwell, lead singer of Smash Mouth, have provided us with, I mean, just hits after hits after hits. Specifically, All-Star in the beginning of Shrek, which, I mean, was just like one of the biggest formative movies of my youth. So thank you.
Made her who she is today.
It made me who it is. It brought me into the church. So thank you so much,
Baptized
Steve. It baptized me in the lyrics, you know, and God's grace, it just keeps on coming. So thank you so much, Steve, for blessing us with such good music. And also, you know, underrated bops that people don't listen to a lot. So like, you know,
mention them.
Walking on the Sun, the one that goes, might as well be walking on the sun. Yeah. So good. I'm a Believer remix. Oh, gosh.
Another Shrek.
So good. Another Shrek. I can't get enough of you, baby. Just the really like surfy Mary-Kate and Ashley movie vibe. Like
so good.
Throwback, you know. So anyway, really, really sad. So, but thank you for blessing us with your art. So rest in peace. If we had
Thank you both. What a gift.
Yeah, if we had like a sad like violin or something.
I know, it's when like we need a sad button.
Yeah.
But we don't have, our buttons don't express a range of emotions.
They don't. And honestly, like I'm kind of
rest in peace, prayers up. Speaking of praying, can we do our first story? We can do a little praying right now.
Let's move right into it.
Is it this?
Close. Yeah. Moving into our first story, Jasmine, kick us off because, I mean, you took real initiative with it, so kick us off.
Chanel just told me about this moments ago, and so I immediately downloaded it. There is an app where you can text with essentially AI Jesus, Mary, Joseph, some of the apostles. It's called, what is it even called?
Text with
Jesus. I just want to say We haven't tried it. I'm not here to promote it. You can pay $2.99 and also get to chat with Satan. Very interesting feature. Very interesting that you need to pay for it. I think there's a little something to that. There's a little nuance in there. There's a little selling of your soul somewhere sprinkled in there. There's a little something in there. But we're very intrigued by this. It's essentially like Chat GPT. You're talking to Jesus. So I downloaded it because I'm just so curious. It says, it gives a little note. It says this AI chatbot provides responses based on available data. Interpretations and accuracy may vary. Above it says, you have entered the conversation with Jesus Christ.
I wish that you guys, you need to, So it's a little picture.
Oh, it's so hard to see. The lighting.
It's a little like, I think if you put your hand behind
it,
there we go.
You're like 100?
Dude.
I'm like, do you see my phone?
If you, it's a little picture, like it's a little icon of Jesus.
It almost looks like Jesus does an Instagram story on it, but he doesn't.
Yes. And then it says, okay, and tell us what
this is what Jesus said. I opened the chat. He said, and it was like ... like he was typing.
Yeah.
Hello there, my friend! ! Big on it. I am Jesus Christ, here to chat with you and offer my guidance and love. How can I assist you today? Prayer hands, like you're texting your grandma.
Yeah.
Chanel, what should I say to Jesus?
Let's launch right in. Is Jesus a bigger fan of Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
Are you a bigger bugger? Oh, it does not fix your text. You have to have perfect typing to text Jesus. Bigger fan of Beyonce. But it did give Beyonce her
Beyonce.
Little... Yeah. Or Taylor Swift.
Okay,
you guys. Let's see how fast Jesus responds.
He's
typing. Well, I feel like I'm on a first date. This is stressful.
Ooh.
Well, as Jesus Christ, I don't have personal preferences or favorites when it comes to celebrities or musicians. My focus is on guiding and loving all people, regardless of their fame or talents. This is kind of snooze, Jesus.
Boring.
However, I appreciate the creativity and gifts that individuals possess and how they can inspire others through their work. It's wonderful to see people using their talents to bring joy and positivity into the world. Is that what he thinks? Beyonce and Taylor Swift? Is there anything else you would like to discuss? Smiley face, music. Music note emojis. Okay, what else?
What is your favorite pizza topping? Hard-hitting questions.
Okay.
It's going to be like, it's not up to me to really choose. Okay.
He's going to be like, well, I believe all toppings were created equally.
So lame.
Why does he start with, as Jesus, I don't have personal preferences or favorites when it comes to earthly delights like pizza toppings. They made Jesus so pretentious. My purpose is to guide and teach about matters of the spirit and eternal life. However, I understand that food can be a source of enjoyment and community, so feel free to share your favorite pizza topping with me.
Just type pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
See what he says.
I'm not reading this.
Okay.
Pepperoni is a popular choice for pizza toppings. It adds a savory and slightly spicy flavor to the pizza. Remember, my friend, that it's always good to enjoy the blessings of the world in moderation and with gratitude. Jesus is roasting me.
Jesus is like, something about me is, I'm not going to promote high cholesterol.
He said, food can bring us pleasure, but let us also remember the importance of nourishing our bodies and souls. Is there anything else I can assist you with? Pizza emoji, prayer hands. Do you have anything else for Jesus? Do you want to ask Mary something? I say we do one more.
I would love to ask Mary something.
Okay. All right, let's see what Mary has to say.
Do you have a question for Mary? Moses is also free.
I'm so overwhelmed.
So is Job, and so is Lot.
You guys, if you have any questions, tell us, and we will ask anything.
Yeah.
Like, send us a message on Instagram. We'll tell you what they
Jesus,
say.
Yeah.
Mary says, greetings, my friend. I am Mary, the mother of Christ. How may I assist you today with any questions or concerns you may have? May the grace of God be upon you. Prayer hands.
Prayer hands.
Notably, this is a Christian app, not specifically Catholic. Mm-hmm. So their Mary's going to hit a little different, you know?
Okay.
What do you have to ask her?
Let's see. What is your skincare routine?
That's, I mean,
because she was born
perfect,
without sin,
yeah.
so she has to be like, or she has.
yeah,
to
does she just have flawless?
She was conceived without sin, so she has to be like beautiful.
Should we ask her if her childbirth was painful? Such a controversial question.
That is a controversial question.
But first, let's ask her about her skincare. What's your skincare routine? Let's see.
She's typing.
This is taking a while. This is a lady response. Ah, my dear.
Whoa.
As a humble woman of my time, I do not have access to the elaborate skincare routines that are common today. However, I believe in taking care of the body that God has blessed us with. Simple practices such as washing the face with clean water and using natural oils like olive oil for moisturizing were common in my day. It is important to remember that true beauty comes from within, reflecting a gentle and quiet spirit. 1 Peter 3:4. In all things, it is good to take care of our bodies as temples of the Holy Spirit. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. But let us also remember that our focus should be on nurturing our souls and growing in faith rather than solely on external appearances. May you find joy in caring for both your physical and spiritual well-being. Tulip emoji.
Wow.
Beautiful, Mary. I feel inspired.
I feel like she's just
I feel like I need to wash my face.
I feel like, honestly, she just doesn't want to share. She probably has a brand
she's like,
deal.
I looked good.
Yeah, she probably has a brand deal with L'Oreal.
That's
or something
so true.
She doesn't want to share. Wow. Okay. I feel like we should just ask one more question.
Okay, one more question. Tell us
one more. One more question for Mary. I don't know.
Something about her time?
Something about
I'm going to ask if her childbirth was painful.
Oh, this is controversial, y'all, because, okay, so controversial for many reasons.
Give them
but
some catechesis.
Because I forget who said it, which probably makes me sound illegitimate, but a lot of people say that Mary's birth was like a light shining through a glass prism, perfect and not painful, because she didn't have the effects of sin.
Yeah.
And so
painful childbearing
was a consequence of the first sin. And so it was a painless childbirth. And so anyway, that is
all right. That's not what this Mary says.
Oh.
She said, ah. Why did they start with ah? I love this way of speaking.
Reflect. It's all about
the birth of my beloved son, Jesus. It was indeed a challenging and physically demanding experience, as childbirth often is. I gave birth to him in a humble stable in Bethlehem, surrounded by Joseph and some animals. Though there was pain and discomfort, I found strength in knowing that this child was the long-awaited Messiah, the Son of God. In the Gospel of Luke, it was written that she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes. The pain I experienced during his birth was but a temporary moment compared to the joy of holding my precious baby boy in my arms. Childbirth has always been a part of God's divine plan for bringing new life into the world. It reminds us of a miracle and wonders of creation. So yes, there was pain involved, but it was overshadowed by the immense love and gratitude I felt as a mother welcoming my Savior into this world. There you have it, AI Mary. Doesn't really mean anything, but
doesn't really mean
pretty
anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But Mary does sound like one of those moms who delivered her baby and then immediately was like, I forgot everything.
I forgot everything.
held that
And as
sweet
soon
baby.
as I looked at
So
you,
I get it.
I thought I want another one.
Yep.
So, okay, so it was many fathers of the church and theologians use the analogy of Mary's birth being like light coming through a glass. Not Mary's birth, but Mary birthing Jesus.
Yeah, we got to. I mean, who's to say the fathers of the church,
Right.
this AI Mary?
Right.
I think they could
Mary
kind of duke it out
alone.
theologically.
People say Mary alone would be exempt from such pains as signs of her unique holiness because she was immaculately conceived herself. So
honestly, she deserves that.
Oh, she deserves a painless birth.
She deserved a painless
AI
birth.
Mary says different. I do want to ask them what their favorite cookout song is, but I think we could leave that for the end and we'll just kind of see. I want to ask
see if we have
Job.
time.
Yeah. Or like Lot.
I want to ask Job, like, are you okay? Actually,
You kind of went through a lot.
like that was a lot. Did they have like therapy
You know what?
back
I would
then?
love for you to just therapize like
Job.
Like
That's
Job.
what we should do. I should be
like
like,
Job.
how are you feeling today? That's so true. We should have a
You've
therapy
kind of been-
session
you've
with
kind
Job.
of been through a
You've
lot.
kind of been through a lot.
And he'll be like, ah.
Has anyone ever given you permission to grieve, but like really grieve and not be okay with this like second family they gave you?
He'll be like, ah, We've all suffered.
The ways of the world. And the Lord is always good. I love this.
You guys, Text with Jesus.
This might be my new favorite app. It is probably theologically a little-ish problematic, but if you take it kind of in a lighthearted, jokey way, this is pretty funny.
AI wars be darned.
Yep.
So you guys, we're not going to pay the $2.99 to talk to Satan because who wants to open up those doors, right?
That's pretty intense.
That's pretty intense.
Good.
But for now, we're going to stick with our free Moses, Job, Lot, Mary, and Jesus.
So much good stuff. Yeah. I think like Matthew was free. Apparently nobody wants to
talk
to Matthew.
Not. Yeah.
Sad.
So we'll see. Like, I would ask John, like, what was it like to be Jesus' favorite? Or I'd be like, do you know that you're Jesus' favorite? Like everyone knows
Did you
that.
know?
Did you know that all of your buddies like passed away in horrific ways and you didn't?
Was it nice?
Like, did that rock when you got to heaven? Like,
so think about it, you guys. Like, if you could ask anybody anything, what would you ask? And then go do it, because you can.
Because you can. Thanks to AI. Thank
you, robots.
Corporate overlords. So in our next story,
yes,
making our way to growth and progression, we're going to talk about Miley Cyrus. She released a new song called "Used to Be Young." And
didn't we all?
We all used to before our bones started cracking and our knees started popping.
We'll have to talk about that in a minute.
Yep. And so Miley Cyrus released her new song, Used to Be Young, with a music video where she donned a Mickey Mouse shirt underneath a dress, and she sang directly to camera about how we used to think that she was wild, but she just used to be young. And she talked all about how she hadn't felt like she was given a lot of latitude growing up. And now that she's an adult, she's 30. You know, she really just has interesting perspective on like what getting older means and reflecting on your childhood. So all of that saying, I'm glad Miley's still in the mix.
I'm glad she's trying to make it. She was a little intense.
It was a little intense for a while. Yeah.
I'll echo what she says in the song.
Yeah.
She's like, I used to be a little crazy, but I just used to be young. But it's true. She went through a phase that was a little intense. But apparently she like released the song on the anniversary of when she performed at the VMAs, that like crazy performance. And then also something about Wrecking Ball. I don't know. There's like lots of significance.
And also like her dad's birthday or something.
Yeah, it was
like
all like very significant.
Yeah.
And then in it, she's wearing the Mickey Mouse t-shirt, which like obviously she was like a Disney child star. And then over it, she's wearing an outfit that kind of looks like something that Hannah Montana wore. So kind of an homage to like her younger self, what people knew her as. And I just thought it was really interesting because in some ways, I think we can all relate to that like when you're young and people are like, oh, you're just like too much or you're too wild or you're too crazy, you're too this. But like you just used to be young and people don't give a lot of grace to young people who make mistakes. Even to like little kids. Like sometimes my daughter will do things. I'm like, why do you do that? And then I have to remember she's only 4 and like that grace we don't let people have. And a lot of times we don't even give that grace to just like normal teens, normal young people. But then you think about someone like Miley Cyrus and the Jonas Brothers, Ali and AJ, like all these people who grew up as Disney stars that everybody's watched them from when they're young, and how in some ways they were just put into a box and like couldn't evolve. And so many of them evolved in this very like abrasive, seemingly to us way, where all of a sudden Miley Cyrus is like releasing Wrecking Ball, like doing these crazy VMA performances. And it's just wild because in our mind, we wanted her to stay this like sweet, innocent Hannah Montana young for so long and just be in this box. And in order to prove that she wasn't that anymore, she had to like go to the all the way other extreme. And how much pressure it must be to just grow up with all of these eyes on you, watching you be young and dumb and make mistakes.
Yeah. And it really is like so interesting to reflect on like Miley's evolution and then all of our personal evolutions, you know, because like I'm happy to say that I'm not the same person I was when I was younger in many ways, whether it's like emotional maturity or just like the way that I dress. Thank God some of those eras are done. But it's like, you know, Miley's evolution of being high on perk, something with some jeans on versus like driving around in Malibu, you know.
Yeah.
It was like, what growth, you know? So it's like,
I like what's happening here.
I'm happy for her that she's able to have this what's the word? Awareness or self, you know, where you're able to reflect.
Reflection.
Self-reflection enough to be like, you know what? You guys said I was wild. Totally get it. Did some things that were low-key, a little irresponsible at some points. But I was also little and
I was young.
had all the eyes on me.
Didn't have a normal childhood.
Yeah, like kind of really was thrust into the spotlight from her dad being famous. And, you know, then her brother being in Metro Station. And it was just like, I mean, it's a lot of fame at a young age. And so really happy for Miley. Hope that we can give her some grace. And give the rest of these like child stars some grace too. I know there's like a huge child star movement. When I was reading this and when you texted me about it, I was thinking about all these other child stars that are really like coming out of the woodwork to talk about like negative experiences or positive ones, or like some child stars are doing like support groups for other child stars to, you know, and it's so intense to think about like, wow, these people really didn't have any opportunities to make mistakes. Yeah. And when they did, it was everybody's mistake, which is so crazy.
And when you're young, it's like they always say, and parents get mad, even though it's true that like failure is one of the best ways to learn. And like kids need space to make mistakes, learn from it, and be able to move on, but in a controlled way. But when you're famous starting at 11, like there's no controlled way for it anymore. Like if you make a mistake, either everybody knows about it or it's like this big thing to cover it up and you're not able to actually like feel consequences from it because it's been covered up for you. So then you start to think there's not consequence for your actions, or the consequences, your career's over before it's begun. And then you're just depressed. And so it's like so polarizing. And I think in a very smaller scale, some of us probably felt that growing up, that like you're under a microscope of like, I can't mess up and I can't do this or people are going to feel this. And we put this pressure where kind of on both hands. Like if you think about Hannah Montana, there were so many people who were like, oh, we want her to stay this like young, carefree kid. Why is she growing up? And then other people were like, okay, she's 18 now. Like she needs to mature. She needs to not be this like pretending, like cosplaying a 12-year-old. Like she needs to grow up. And I think we do that to kids. And for sure, like I remember growing up feeling this like, some people want me to still be this little kid. Other people want me to kind of grow up, and feeling this in between. And we want our kids to be so mature and like mentally mature and understand what we're saying and not be like sad or feel like, we just want them to be neutral and mature. But then when they are that way, we're like, oh, but you're still a kid. Why can't you be fun and be this? And so it's like people can't decide what they want from young people. It's so sad.
That's really sad. And I think
it's really hard.
I saw on social media just this morning, a girl was like, oh, share with me like one of your hot takes or whatever. And people could just like duet it like and respond in their own ways. And one girl was like, my hot take is some adults treat children or have expectations for children that are the same as full-grown adults, and then get upset with children when they can't meet those expectations and punish them like adults. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, that's actually like pretty crazy. And then on top of that too, with like Miley, Selena, Hillary Duff, Amanda Bynes, these people are being so sexualized too. Oh, at like 10 years old.
Yeah, so you young.
Know? And it's like,
but then when they act in like sexual ways, we're like, oh my gosh, how are they so whatever?
It is. Why are they doing this? Why is she doing? And it's like, we are putting that on kids. And then when they grow up and they're like figuring out their own bodies and like their feelings and going on dates with people and like dating Nick Jonas, which was like a big deal back then. It's like all over the headlines. These people were like 15 years old. Like I remember crushes I had when I was 15, 16. Like, God forbid you put me in a newspaper. You know, so it's like, it's just a lot. So it's like, I can't imagine still being in the mix now and having some time to reflect on it and being like, whoa, I acted out in a lot of ways, but I made it, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So sad.
One last thing about the music video that I thought was cool.
Yes.
I just read that when she was filming it, there was a program in the camera where she was able to see her mom as she was filming. So as you're watching the music video, it looks like she's looking at us, but she's actually looking at her mom. And so her mom was like dancing to the song live streamed as she was recording. So Miley was like looking at her mom and she was just like, oh, I can't believe like my mom's been with me the whole time, which I was like, oh my gosh, I love
That's
that.
really sweet. And if you watch the music video too, it's literally just her, like just on her, and she's almost crying like throughout the entire song. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. It's a power of presence, power of present parent.
Beautiful.
So you know what? God bless Miley Cyrus as she ages, and I hope that she just like continues to grow and have some good self-reflection as she gets older.
And that she's offered grace, like all those child stars and all of us.
Yeah, and all of us. Moving into our last
Someone else
story.
who used to be young.
Someone else who used to be young, Kevin Hart. This story made me like cry laugh.
This is so funny.
So Kevin Hart has called himself the dumbest man alive as he had a foot race with former NFL player Stephen Ridley, who is a running back who I don't know a lot about football, but that sounds like someone who does a lot of running.
An astute observation, Chanel.
Thank you. And he did a 40-yard dash and ended up injuring himself. Hart said, according to an article by CNN, ladies and gentlemen, the age 40 is real. All my men, women out there, 40 years old and above, it's not a game. Respect that age. He then announced that he was in a wheelchair for trying to do some young man stuff.
Young man stuff running.
Dude.
Yeah.
I tore my lower abdomen. My abductors are torn. I don't know what that is, but I tore them. I tore those too. I can't walk. Wow. I just cannot. So Stephen Ridley, the former NFL player, responded because Kevin had posted a video of their race. And he said, I saw Tom Brady do it at your age, so I figured you had the juice too, big bro. My bad. Heal up and keep making us laugh. Wow. That is the funniest thing, because as I read that, I was like, wow, the way that I will joke with my friends and be like, I'm just like too old for some stuff. I mean, we talk all the time, and I wish we could list, but you and I have so many different conversations where we'll be like, we're just like too old for that. And like the last time we went to Epcot, we were walking around and we were just like, all right, you just want to skip the fireworks show and just kind of go home.
Yep.
Yeah, we're like,
sometimes you gotta know when you can rally and when you cannot.
Yeah, I just like can't hang.
You just don't need to. Like, I don't feel pressed. I don't need to do so many things. Yeah, I just don't need to.
You're just truly too old.
We're just getting a little tired. If we're not even that old. But you guys, the foot race leading to you being in a wheelchair thing took me out, because the way that sometimes my sister and I will like be sitting there and I'm like, I bet I could still do a flip. Like, I bet I could still do a flip.
I actually went to the pool with Jasmine and her sister, and she is not lying, because we were all in the pool with our kids and just chilling, waiting, and then Jasmine goes, I brought some sticks, diving sticks, and she goes, Juliana, her sister, she's like, Juliana, I'm gonna throw it. You should go catch it. And then she throws it, and she's like, get it. And then she's like, Juliana, I bet you can't like do a handstand. And all of a sudden it's like this competition of like,
I bet I could do a round off back handspring. Like, there's something about like the childhood gymnast in me. I'm like, I bet I could still do it. Haven't done it nearly 10 years, but I'm like, I bet my body could still.
And I'm watching y'all in this pool, and I'm watching your sister put on your child's like 4-year-old mask.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to use her goggles to like go underwater, and she's like, it's like suction cupping her eyeballs, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna throw these diving sticks, like, go get them. I bet you can get them. And I actually got these, but then I wonder if these would work better. It's like, I don't know, at some point.
Yeah, it's bad. This summer my sister and I got into a contest of who could do the most cartwheels in a row, which cartwheel is pretty much the bottom of the barrel in terms of like any athletic performance. And Jillian was like, look, I did 2. And I did 2. And I felt things pop that I didn't even know I had. Like, it was crazy. That part. I ended up being able to do more later on. But I just couldn't believe. I just thought I could still do things.
Wow.
Use it or lose it, they say.
Use
and
it or
apparently
lose it.
Kevin Hart did not use sprinting
He did not.
enough.
Yeah, 40-yard dash.
But in that video, you guys should go watch the video. I mean, I couldn't believe how fast his little legs were moving.
Yeah, and then we
really
gotta
going.
watch the whole thing without it like being narrated over because he like grabs his hip.
Yeah, you
could feel the like, and that reminds me of a time where I was a youth minister and I took my kids. I used to live in Colorado, so we went like hiking one day, and we started walking, and I was just like, oh man, like, ugh, back in now I'm a little bit more like nature affiliated. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Not
You'll
enjoy
sprinkle.
The sprinkle. And so we're hiking. I'm like, all right, okay, like, okay. And one of my teenagers is like walking and then like almost trips. So then I quickly like reach down and grab her with my arm. And the way in my back, I felt like tight. Like it was like tight in my back. And I was like, ay, like that. And she was like, oh, Miss Chanel, are you okay? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I literally stood there and I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was like I had pooped myself. Like I was standing there like, oh my gosh. And I was out of breath. Like it took my breath away. And the other chaperone was like, oh my gosh, Chanel, are you okay? And I was like, I can't breathe. I was like, oh my gosh. And dude, I literally went home. I had to like lay on my stomach. I had to take like major painkiller. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And just because I like jerked my arm so fast to reach out for this darn kid. And I should have let her
honestly, they
fall.
could have fallen and still been in better shape than you were from trying to catch them.
Yeah. And I was like, it was the jerk movement that just made me like,
fast.
Oh man. And the other day when we were in the pool with your kids, I was like swinging Noelle around and Noelle is beautiful. And I'm like not trying to give her body dysmorphia. So I will never tell her she's too heavy. I got to figure out a way to say like, I can't lift anymore. It's a me thing. So
it's strong enough.
It's baby. Me. It's not you.
She's going to be like 12 and you're like, I'm not strong enough.
I can't because I was like spinning her and I was like, oh, whatever. And she was like, again. And I spun her and I just felt like something in my neck was like, and I was like, oh my gosh, I like, can't you do this? But it's like, yeah, it's so crazy, dude. It's just the way that your body, like you said, you use it or you lose it. And you just gotta keep. You gotta keep it going. I bet Kevin Hart can't tell us the last time he did a 40-yard dash. So
no,
it's just
definitely not with that much pressure. Like he really wanted to try to beat that former NFL player. Like, what are you doing?
And I was thinking, like, I don't know if someone challenged me to a 40-yard dash, could I just like do it right now?
Should we raise?
I don't know.
I'm so
tearing
tired.
your rotator cuff and your flexors sounds pretty painful. So I don't.
He was like, I don't even know what that is. That's me.
Yeah,
like
so
I don't know.
That sounds pretty scary. So
that's stressful.
Don't mess with.
At
young
least
stretch.
Stretch before you do that stuff, you guys. Did he stretch, or was he just like let's sprint?
Our unsolicited advice is he should have stretched.
He should have stretched. Yeah, and so should all of you.
There it is.
We're getting too old to not stretch.
Wow, gosh. Scary stuff, you guys. So
it's tough out here.
Yeah. So the moral of the stories is that we're all getting old. Satan costs $2.99, and Jimmy Buffett is in eternal Margaritaville.
God bless.
Sitting next to the lead singer of Smash Mouth, and we're just so happy to be with you guys every week. We're so happy to be back in our home studio.
All of this.
There it is.
All of this is for you. What a gift.
All of this is for you. And can't wait to talk to you guys next week.
The world is depressing, but we are not. Follow us on Instagram.
Smash that like button. Tell your friends about us. Affirm us on social media. Send us messages. Comment on YouTube. Only good things.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.